The House on the Hill. Many years ago, in a small village tucked away between hills and dense woods, there was a house no one dared to go near. It was an old, dark wooden structure with broken windows and creaky doors that groaned in the wind. People said that at night, you could hear strange sounds coming from inside, like whispers or muffled cries. And anyone who got too close felt an unexplainable chill, like they were being watched. The story started with a man named Samuel, who, after losing his wife and kids in a tragic accident, decided to move to that village in search of peace. He was a man of few words, and soon, he isolated himself in the empty house on the hill, ignoring the villagers' warnings about the cursed place. On his first night in the house, Samuel felt something off, but couldn't quite figure out what it was. The wind howled outside, but inside, the silence was almost suffocating. When he finally fell asleep, he was awakened by a soft whisper, almost too faint to hear, coming from somewhere inside the house. He got up, flashlight in hand, but found nothing. He chalked it up to exhaustion or the loneliness starting to get to him. In the following days, the strange happenings grew more intense. Doors he had locked at night were wide open in the morning. Objects would move around during the night. Every time Samuel tried to ignore the weird occurrences, more things kept happening, like the house was trying to communicate with him in subtle but relentless ways. One particularly cold night, Samuel was awakened by the sound of heavy, rhythmic footsteps, like someone was walking through the house, but no one was there. When he went to the living room, he saw a shadow pressed against the wall. The figure looked human, but its eyes glowed red in the dark. Samuel, frozen in place, tried to scream, but his throat was dry, and the words wouldn't come out. The shadow moved closer, its footsteps echoing on the wooden floor, until it suddenly disappeared, as if it had never been there. In the nights that followed, Samuel's dreams became more vivid and disturbing. He dreamed of the house's old history, a tale told by the village's oldest residents. The house had been built by a rich man, obsessed with dark rituals. He believed he could bring his wife back, who had died giving birth to their only son. The man made a deal with unknown forces and used the blood of several people to try and complete the ritual. But instead of resurrecting his beloved, he released something evil, something that should have never been awakened. The house was abandoned, but the entity the man had summoned never left. It was always there, waiting for its next victim. With each passing night, Samuel felt more and more suffocated by the invisible presence in the house. His sanity was slipping, and he didn't know if it was all just a nightmare or if it was real. The shadow of footsteps grew louder and louder, and the whispers turned into cries of pain and agony. It was then, one stormy night, that Samuel decided he had to leave the house. But as he tried to escape, he found the door locked, as if the house wouldn't let him go. He ran to the windows, but they were all shut tight. The air was thick and warm, and he felt a strange heat, like the house itself was alive, breathing. Desperate, Samuel tried to escape through the back, but when he reached the garden, he saw a figure standing in front of him. It was the figure of his wife, pale and with hollow eyes, as if waiting for him. Before he could react, the figure twisted into something horrifying, with torn skin and exposed bones. With a desperate scream, Samuel tried to run, but the entity grabbed him tightly, its red eyes lighting up everything around him. The next morning, the villagers found the house empty. Samuel was never seen again, and the house, like always, remained there, silent and cold, waiting for its next tenant. And so, the legend of the house on the hill continued to be passed down from generation to generation, as a warning to anyone who dared to come near.